Hello everyone, so welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very natural everyday look. At this point I'm brushing my eyebrows. I had already filled them in, so we're just going to clean them up. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Sand, starting at the tail to make our eyebrow on point, on fleek, however you want to call it. We're gonna move from the tail to the middle of the eyebrow, just cleaning it up real quick, and after that we're just gonna clean up the top. I normally like to use foundation for this, but on this video I wanted to try out a new foundation, so I did not want to risk my eyebrows looking ugly, so I'm just using the same concealer, cleaning really close to the eyebrow without getting or touching any of the hairs. So once you're happy with how your eyebrow is looking, I took a fluffy brush. I don't know where this brush is from, so I can't really tell you guys, but I'm just buffing the concealer out, making sure it's all buffed out, all clean, looking cute and blended. So for this look, I decided to use the Vanish foundation by Hourglass. This is in the shade Bisque. I only used a sample, that's why I didn't show it to you guys, but as you can see it's a little bit too light for me, but I just want to give it a run for this video. I'm going to be using my Morphe sponge to blend it out. It's already damp, so I'm just going to lightly, really quickly blend my makeup. And then using the same concealer we used for the eyebrows, which is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Sand. It's a little bit too dark. As you can see, the foundation was too light for me, but we're going to work with that. I'm going to blend it out, buff it out, make it look perfect. I actually took the time to actually blend it out just because my foundation was a little too light. But now we're moving on to using the Maybelline Superstay Stick Foundation in the shade Toffe Caramel 330. And we're going to be using it on our cheekbones, forehead, jawline, and our nose as well. I really like this foundation just because it's very blendable and it doesn't make your foundation patchy at all. So I'm using a beauty sponge, which is my Morphe one, again to blend everything out, make sure everything's blended. And I really recommend it. It's $11.99. I believe I got it at Ulta. So now I'm just making sure my under eyes are set with my Hourglass loose powder, and I'm going to be setting my whole face. Actually, I just don't show it, but it's a really good powder. I really recommend. No flashback. And moving on, we're going to be using the Morphe Debutante bronzer, and it's a very, I would say, warm toned. I'm going to be using the Morphe M530 brush by focusing our bronzer on the outer edge of our cheekbone. And I like to do that just to create more definition and create more of a slim face effect. I do like to move it a little closer to my smile as well, just to create like a bigger, I don't know what it's called, but it creates like a nice illusion when you smile and when you pose for pictures. So I'm also going to be using the same bronzer, which is a Morphe one, to contour my nose slightly. I am going to be using another Morphe brush, and I'll list that one below because I don't have it here with me, but I'm going to be doing it on the tip of my nose at the bottom near my nostrils, and then along the two sides of my nose. And I like to use it's a fluffy brush just so the product doesn't go in as harsh, and then I go over it with a bigger, fluffier brush, which I'll show right now. But you just want to make sure everything's really blended and no harsh lines, so it can look a little more natural. Something that I also like to do is after I finish contouring my nose, I go over it with a beauty blender just to make sure it's patted into the foundation and not just sitting on top of it. So as you can see, I'm using the bigger brush, and it's a flat brush for Morphe. I would also list it down below. But it's a flat brush, and I like to take my contour all the way around, like where my eyebrows start, and maybe sometimes inside my eye, like to give it more depth. And now moving on to our baking on the nose, on the side of the nose. That's just gonna make it seem that we have a slimmer nose. So what I like to do is I like to do both sides. Make sure you put a lot of the loose powder on the sides of the nose so it actually creates that illusion that it's thin. And then I like to make an exclamation point in the middle of my nose. So on the tip I would put a little dot, and then going down my nose in the middle a little strip of loose powder as well. And that's just gonna make it, again, like I said, the illusion like you have a slimmer nose, if you don't, like I do. So now, once I'm happy with how much product I have on my nose, I move on to blush, and I'm gonna be using the Too Faced Peach Cream to Powder blush, which I'm also gonna link down below, or I'm gonna write the name on it below. This is one of my favorites just because it gives you a really natural look, and I'm using a very fluffy brush as well to make it look as natural as possible. I am a fan of blush, so I do like to go in heavily. Now I'm just making sure that my contour is pretty snatched, so I'm using more loose powder with the same beauty blender going under it to cut the contour and the blush. So you just gotta make sure that you are very precise with it, so you don't actually like overdo it or you make it uneven. But it's something that I like to do just to make sure that my contour looks very clean. Now I'm just going to my eyelids. I'm gonna be placing some of the same bronzer that we've been using, which is the Morphe Debutante, on my eyelid just to give some depth as well. And I like to do that just to make sure that I have a nice base and it doesn't look as plain when doing or applying my falsies. It's a very natural look, but I really like it. So now we're gonna be adding some brown eyeliner, which is a much more natural eyeliner, but I am not using any type of eyeliner. I'm just using some really dark brown eyeshadow while using an angled brush. So I'm just gonna be doing that, applying it the closest I can to my lash line. And now we're gonna just curl our lashes. Make sure you get them nice and curled. You don't want them sticking straight up, but you want a nice curl. So I would do the 3-point type of curl. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but you start at the base, you move to the middle, and then you curl the ends of your eyelashes as well. And I'm just gonna be applying some eyeliner to tighten our lash line. I prefer to use brown on the daily, but I don't have any brown right now, so I'm gonna be using black, which is fine, but I prefer brown when it's more of a natural look. So I'm gonna be using the Kiss Lashes Naked Drama in the style Chiffon. They're my favorite natural lashes. They look pretty big on me, but they're pretty natural. And then we're just gonna apply some Bad Gal Bang mascara before our lashes while we let our lashes sit and dry. I like to apply just around 2 coats. Make sure you get all of your lashes from the bottom all the way to the top, just to make sure you have a good base for your eyelashes. So now I am just going to I like to bend my eyelashes a little bit just to make sure they're the shape of the eye, not straight at all. So I'm just gonna apply it from the looking down, placing my eyelashes to the top. I like them to look fluttery, so I'm applying them from the top, not the bottom, but that's something else to explain. As you can see, they're pretty big. Well, they look big, but they're pretty natural as well. And now I'm just finishing off my eyebrows. I'm adding some brow powder, which I did not show, but I can list it below as well. I'm just adding powder to both of my eyebrows, and then some setting gel, which is from the brand Sephora. It was around 12 bucks, I believe. I really like it. I really recommend. And just like that, we have some perfect eyebrows. Now I'm just gonna dust off all the loose powder that I have on my face, make sure everything is nice and set, and just be really careful when you're dusting off your your nose powder, just because you don't want to lose the shape that you're trying to go for with your contouring. So now I'm just gonna set my face with the Wet n Wild New Prep and Prime, I think 3-in-1 primer water in the scent cucumber. I really liked it. After I set my face, I like to fan it and then with the sponge go over it just to make sure everything is nice and set, no water left behind. Now I'm going to be using the Artist Couture loose highlight in the shade Illuminati. As you can see, it's very blinding. A little goes a long way, and I actually really love it just because it has that nice golden tone to it. I love to apply that on my nose. It's one of my favorite things to do. So you just take a smaller brush, you place it on the tip of your nose and then along the bridge. You just have to be really careful not to, again, move it or apply too much, just so you don't lose the shape of the nose that you're trying to go for. And another one of my favorites is to apply it on the bridge of my eyebrow. I just feel like it gives it a nice glow. And now I'm just applying a little bit more blush just because I like to have a lot of color. And it's the same blush that I applied before, going over with some of the same bronzer, making sure everything is nice and perfect and blended. And yeah, so now I'm gonna be using the NYX Suede lip pencil in the shade London. This is one of my favorites. It's really smooth and nice formula, not drying, and it's very versatile. I think you can like pair with a lot of lip colors. But this is one of my favorites, so I really recommend, and I believe they're only like $3 or $4. So, I mean, don't quote me on that, but I believe they are. So, because I have like 5 of those, and I'm pretty sure they're cheap. But I just like to line my lips. I don't overline my lips. I just go right where the line of my lips is. I didn't want like the nice shape of the lips. I just wanted more of a rounded lip. So I did go over my cupid's bow a little bit, but I'm just setting my face one more time, making sure everything is nice and set. A few sprays, you know, you gotta drown yourself in that. Fan myself, and then we're done. So this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed my little tutorial, and I hope to see you guys again on my channel. Please comment and subscribe, share with your friends, and let me know what you want me to record on my next video. Bye!